Right, people, good morning. Hope everything is good. Welcome back to another video, another full day of eating. Another full day of eating. We are 2 weeks into the off season, 2 weeks into the bulk now. Food is at a nice high point, pretty much at the highest my food has ever been when I've been on it with my food. You know, obviously we've had multiple days, multiple weeks, multiple months where food has probably been a lot higher, where I've taken body fat levels to crazy levels, you know, putting me in a bad position. But when I've been on it, you know, my actual food that I need every single day to stay in shape, so you can let me know if you think I'm in shape right now or not, and to build muscle. So full day of eating, keep it simple, to build muscle, and we're building muscle hopefully quite quick. So I'm here this morning. I have 5k steps done, 30 minutes pretty much on the treadmill, like 30 minutes of sending on the treadmill. So you could, you know, class that as cardio, you can class that as steps. It depends on a given day of what type of cardio I'm doing, whether that this morning there will be classed towards just steps or whether it will be cardio or not. It just depends on like the training setup, what I'm actually training on that given day, whether it's legs, whether it's upper body, so. And I've had one coffee so far this morning and about 2 liters of water now. That's it. So with me, I'll get up, I'll have a glass of water, like a pint of water, and then I get a coffee going straight away. You know, I know you hear fellas and people saying, you know, wait an hour, wait 90 minutes to have a cup of coffee. Not a chance that. Coffee is going in and getting me going straight away. Now with that, it's more so just a thing of like, I can't really like do anything until I've had a coffee in the morning. That's just the way I am. And so be it. I feel fine off that. What I'm doing here is I'm making my creamy. Still having creamies. I know we're coming into winter time now, but appetite is still raring to go on this amount of food. My appetite in the last week has gotten even higher. So we're just going to go with it. We're just trying to manage it. Anyway, 45 grams away from my creamy. Every single day I also need to get a re-up on protein today as well. I'm using this Perform brownie batter the last couple of days for my creamies. I've got the cinnamon cereal from ESN for my sludges for cream rice and stuff, but I'm pretty much out of that. So all is good, lad. And all my creamy is literally whey and water. That's all it is. Dan's is milk and whey. Mine is just whey and water. I don't drink milk. There might come a point, Ronan, if you're watching this, drinking his full fat milk in the off season, his calories are like between 5,000 and 6,000. Wonder will I ever get to that point. Anyway, in the Ninja Blast, simple job, lad. But anyway, on to digestion drink then next, which is a little bit of a concoction from water out the fridge, right? Cold water is the nicest thing that you can use. Get that on there. And then we also have a little bit of aloe vera. This is the morning drink that I have every single morning just to get me right, set me up for the day, get digestion moving. I do want to try Digest Max this off season as well from Strom. But right now, this is just a blend of leucine, creatine, glutamine, and collagen as well from ESN. ESN's daily, so 24 grams of that then is a serving. And then you'll see here we also then have some additions of now extra glutamine, because there isn't enough glutamine really in that. So I've just been putting the extra glutamine that I'm having to bring me up to 10 grams, lovely, of glutamine, because there's only 5 in this. And then creatine. This is actually apple flavour creatine as well. So it actually works out nice with the daily flavour. We've got an extra 7 grams then of creatine for 10 grams of creatine in the morning time. And then what you'll see here then is I've got my apple cider vinegar, I've got my lemon juice, which I have on the side. And if you were watching one of the most recent videos, you can feel that attacking the stomach straight away. So this is the morning drink. As I said, first thing I'll do is coffee, water, do my cardio, do my steps, whatever the case may be. And then I will have this then sipping throughout when I'm starting work, and then I'll come back. Could be walking the dog, could be not, depending on what day it is. Early in the morning, most mornings we are now early, before Dan goes to work, before I start work, and then I'm set up then for the day, and then I get meal 1 in. So I'll touch base to you at meal 1. Right lads, meal 1, breakfast. Big one, a huge one. This is about 140 grams of carbs going in now. Meal number 1, pre-workout meal. This could be split into 2 meals, just with the time I train, the way I like to set up, it's easier for me. I don't like eating too early in the morning. Me personally, not right now anyway. Maybe as we get further into the off season, further into the bulk, but we've got a heavy one here. So I have myself on the meal plan on Kahuna's, and this is 100 gram of cream of rice, okay, 45 gram of whey. Today we have peanut butter, lad. We have 45 gram of whey. I just have a mix of ESN's cinnamon cereal, whatever was left, and then ESN's milk chocolate hazelnut as well, which is kind of like a Nutella, kind of a tasty kind of one, whatever the case may be. 80 grams of banana. We have 75 gram of frozen blueberries, 75 gram of frozen raspberries. Then we have additional, compared to before, we have 4 normal rice cakes, 10 grams of peanut butter, 10 grams of 85% dark chocolate. Meal number 1 macros, 903 calories, 46 protein, 139 carb, and 14 grams of fat. Big pre-workout meal. I like a big hit of carbs, a big hit of food going in before I train. Training is very demanding at the moment, so that's why I have bumped it up a small little bit in terms of how much we're eating pre-workout, because I am only having 1 meal. But as I said, that can change. And it will change depending on times and shit like that. But that's meal number 1. We're going to get this in. That'll be about 2 hours pre-workout. 2 hours pre-workout or so. Maybe not even. Maybe an hour and a half. But with that extra carbs going in right now, you do want to obviously give it enough time so you actually make use of that food then as well. But this is like probably the favourite meal of the day. All my meals are my favourite meal of the day. But this is an absolute beauty. And as you can see, like rice cakes, I could just do extra cream rice. Appetite is still very much there. We just have one with a bit of banana and peanut butter on there, and then the rest are just 3 dry, which I'll probably like use as like scoopers. Today's session is like demanding because you do, full posterior is like all hammy work, you're starting off with some leg work and then you're going into like back then as well after that. It's just like physically demanding and just like mentally demanding as well. So we're going to get this in. I am nailing my cream of rice at the moment. Like that combo of cream of rice on the table, whey, banana, dark chocolate, peanut butter, blueberries. Beautiful. If you're watching this and you might be deep into a bulk, you might be a good bit into a gain of phase and you're thinking, are you eating that much food there and then? It's because I'm not that far into my bulk, If you are, what you can do is you can make the volume of like cream rice and stuff, the volume of your food smaller. I'm using 400 ml of water, 420 or 450 or something like that for 100 gram of cream rice. A lot of people will make that smaller, and have less volume of food, like not having rice cakes and stuff like that to have more volume. It's just because my appetite, my hunger is still really high there. So for the people who have a high appetite, it's just about, this is just one form of rice. This is just another form of rice, It's just spreading it out. I've got my fruit on there as well. You mightn't have as much fruit on there. Again, just being cautious of getting your fruit in there, getting your micronutrients in there. But if you're, struggling to get food in, even if you're on the same amount of calories as me right now, it's all relative to who you are and what position you're in. Go for the lower volume, higher calorie foods. All your meals throughout the day, they're just as important as each other. If you're digesting that food properly, you're going to be making use of it. If you're not, you're going to fucking run into issues. You're going to run into appetite issues, which when your appetite goes, it just makes life tough. And no one wants to be in a position where, they're not that far into a gain of phase, they're not near the end of it, and they have no appetite at all. And it's just making life hard every single day trying to get food in. That meal has gone straight through the system. I can't even feel it. That's the beauty of food that digests extremely well. I am getting fired up. We're going to do pre-workout and pump, okay? Also, 4 sign-ups to Control Coaching already this week, and it's only Tuesday, lad. I just have to get those people actually signed up here now, so we've that ahead of us. But things are happening. The team is growing, as the man would say. All right, Danielle, you're part of the team as well, aren't you? We're going to do a heap scoop of Conte's The Stim. That is blue slush flavour. Blue slush. And on the days that I'm training like posterior, I'll only do 1 scoop of pump. I don't want like a massive, like, if I'm training like legs or anything, I don't want like a big like leg pump or whatever.
because your quads already get pumped and everything enough. But we're not training quads today, so we are training back. So I do want to get a little bit of a back pump on. Also went on to ESN to order protein. 2 kilo bag of that cinnamon cereal, that's 70 quid. So we're going to have to wait for a sale for that again. I'm just going to get some Perform today, because Perform is all reliable. That is pre-workout. As I said, all we've had is meal number 1. We're going to get in and we're going to get on for the good old back and leg session.
Off to a good start. Hopefully you can hear me here. Power the logbook, lad. As I said, the logbook is just moving a lot over the last week, and I feel a lot better than I did this time last week in this session. So adductor to start, or abductor, just to warm up the glute, get me ready for stiff legs. Adductor, line ham, stiff leg, glute drive. We need to build a set of glutes this year, lads. And then into back with a pull down, a lat row, an upper back row, and then biceps then to finish off. Now, the most anticipated, the most anxiety surrounded fucking set of the week, lads. Well, this is still just a warm up. Yep. Do we go with 4 plates? I won 60 for 10 last week. 180, I'm thinking. Anyway, 2 scoops of pre-workout after that session, lads. What a session. But a couple of bits in Tesco. Down that window. Absolutely roasting. I've got Hydroflow in here. Electrolyte post-workout to bring you back to life isn't a bad idea. A bit of a kind of monster after, but not something I do, and not something I've been doing for a long time, but little treat for you, little treat for me, little treat for you. We're going to share one. These new bad boys were in Tesco. Honeycomb and chocolate square bars. I just sub out a little bit of rice, you know. Like, I know people be looking now and thinking, oh, he's gone off the rails, but this is what we can do, have that little bit of flexibility. And we trained like over an hour ago. We had to do some shit. Can we share it, Jan?
Yeah. So you're after eating half of it already. Might as well eat the whole thing if you want.
No, that's less than half I ate. Here.
Thanks. You're not videoing me eating it.
That's a reward for 4 plates, boys. 4 plates, stiff leg. Next week, we might do more. But also,
nice.
I like it.
The chocolate caramel ones are nice, aren't they?
Nah, too sickly. Anyway, get home, get a proper post-workout meal into us. And also, the new Perform Sticky Toffee Pudding is in Pure Gains Nutrition, so that went in. Ordered that. They didn't have protein in there, so we're just going to have to make do with what we have for the next couple of days, more than likely. Or we could go to Muscle Bound, but it's just time at the end of the day. Also, didn't get biceps done because Dan was rushing me away. Didn't get biceps done, so tonight, ideally, if I have time, biceps and cardio. Biceps, cardio and abs. That would be our little date tonight, probably. Well, a solo date, unless there's any women in the fucking gym.
In the card section. Card.
Alright then, boys. Proper post-workout. Big post-workout. If you're someone who is in the bulk and struggling to get food in, as I said earlier, don't do what I'm doing. But if you've got an appetite like me, do what I'm doing. Spread your carb source, your protein sources out that little bit. We have a chicken salad. Alright? Chicken prepared earlier in the air fryer. Whack a bit of lettuce in there. Whack pepper, onion. Bang. Bob's your uncle. We'll do a little bit of barbecue sauce on top of that. 100 gram of cream of rice. And then 150 gram of raspberries and blueberries with 20 grams of whey. So a little bit of whey just to make that a little bit nicer. And then we've got the chicken salad there, 175 grams of raw whey chicken for this meal. Whether I'm hungry post-workout or not, like usually post-legs, I just, not a chance. Today now, appetite is fairly high there now because I've had a little bit of time to like come down as well, do you know, that kind of way? And we still have a good lot of food to go in today. That's why I made more food go in pre-workout now, because like, yeah, all and well, it's your total food for the day, but like, I want a good hit of food going in pre-workout, you know. I think that extra food that we're having pre-workout now is helping, to be fair. So, post-workout, 715 calories. Post-workout number 1, post-workout number 2, I suppose, will come soon enough after, you know, like, don't be stressing it, lad. 59 protein, 97 carb, 7 fat. Main thing with post-workout, I've said it again, is just quick digesting carb. A lot of people will do cereal, square bars. Rice-based is probably going to be your best bet. And then, again, a good protein source. And keep fats as low as you can, so there's no, like, direct fat source here. We have a good bit of fat in the pre-workout meal. Sound, made that earlier. Sound. A bit of barbecue sauce on there now. Enjoy this. More fluids going in. And we'll see you for meal number 3. Tipping away, we had an old Rosa. Nearly time for another meal. But this is what I've been talking about over the last little while. And my man, shout out. A couple of shout outs. Nico here, first and foremost, taking away a pro card, WMBF pro card at the weekend. Came in silent, jumping into the show. Came away with the pro card, lad. Fair play. I know you'll be watching this probably with a nice bowl of food, hopefully, and we'll be going again in a couple of weeks, lad. But like he was saying here, in terms of the way we're looking, it's very hard when you're looking at yourself in terms of what way things look. But as he was saying,
honestly, Massy, and this is coming from unbiased opinion, I know how much of a head fuck it can be post-show and gaining, rate of gain, whatever. But I'm going to be brutally honest with you. This is a really solid look, man. Like, ab lines are still visible, quad lines are still visible, and what, you're 6, 7, 8 weeks post-show. I think you've honestly managed it well, and I know you're asking for kind of people's opinions on it, of how you've handled it. I honestly, hands down, think you've managed this very well, and this is, as it's
like that. It's never good listening to, you know, multiple different people, but there's certain people that you listen to, certain people that I want to be able to come in and tell me, lad, this is good, or lad, this is not so good, you know. And I make that list of different people that I talk about on the videos here, but also shout out to my man Trev, 19 lads, stepping up on that stage, absolutely peeled. Himself and Ronan brought a lovely package to the stage. Again, look, sport of bodybuilding the way it is, you know what I mean? Very good package. Comparing him to the lad that won his class, do you know, that kind of way? Like, at 19 there, like, natural, peeled to the bone, shredded glutes, just inside out, do you know what I mean? Like, that's how you do it. That is how you do it, do you know? And Really, really good package brought to him. We're going to be linking up as well for a session this week, the three of us, so stay tuned for that. But like that with Nico there, you know, it's just hearing different opinions, staying accountable, staying on top of things, and not listening to other idiots telling me a different story. But I don't really have too many people giving me too many opinions. There's only certain people I'll listen to and see what the story is, and then it's down to me to actually do it. You know what I mean? It's down to me to actually nail things, really. I'm chatting shit here now anyway. I'm going to go back to work for a couple of minutes, get ahead of myself, and then we're going to get post in. Today is going to be 5 meal setup. Just when Danielle isn't in a full day work, she tends to have jobs for us to do, and we had to do some adulting today with different things for ourselves. So we did that. So meals tend to get pushed out a little bit more, but today's going to be a 5 meal setup. Some days it'll be a 6 meal setup depending on what we do, but macros still exact same. I do that with a lot of clients as well, like Ken there, who'll be watching this, for example. There's another thing as well that I do with, you know, their foods. Like Ken there, for example, this morning, you know, we're in the gaining phase, you know, we're not dieting. Like, we have the structure there. We made some manipulations. He wanted a steak, right? He texted me this morning. He was like, Dave, I'm on the 4-day meal plan, the 4 meal plan day here today. So he is, again, like me there, he has, depending on what shift schedule he's working, he has a 5 meal day setup, and he has a 4 meal day setup, basically, right? So he's on the 4 meals today, and he's like, how can we substitute in the steak and this dessert? And I was like, right, here we go. Substitute that in for him. Bang. He can go away. He can enjoy that there now tonight. Still nailing his macros the exact same. Just made some substitutions throughout the rest of the day in his other meals. Do you know that kind of way? Like, it's the same for myself here now. You know, on certain days, like if there's a certain meal Dan wants to eat, we can do that, you know. If there's a certain thing that we want to do, but it does take, like, it's not something I'd be recommending to you, you know, if you're in a fat loss phase watching this now and, you know, you're dieting down and trying to be rigid and have that structure there. Unless you have like super experience with it, you know, you've been doing it for a long time, it's not something I'd really recommend. Maybe at the weekends and stuff, like I always recommend, I said in the last couple of videos, you know, I recommend to clients and do it, you know, for the people who are just wanting to enjoy the process, you know, and not like get shredded for the stage. You know, it's not something I'd get someone on prep for a photo shoot or prep for the stage to do, but someone who wants to just enjoy the day today. We're avoiding the takeaways. We're going to wake up the next day, we're going to feel good, having enjoyed that meal, etc., etc. You know, nailing things, just making a couple of adjustments. Like, that's what I'm here for as well. Like, let's make use of me. You know, like any clients there, like, make use of me every single day of the week. Communication is the biggest thing that will get you the result that you want to get. Who on prep would just eat that whole, the weight of that's 500 grams of sourdough, and sourdough is the next meal. Tell you what, we made do, meant to be 140 grams, we got 138, lad. That is like bread you get on holidays. Lads, the excitement for this meal, this is what it's all about. The excitement for this meal. A little bit of lighter and light mayonnaise. What we've got here is meal number 3. Again, a big meal because we're doing 5 meals today. So we basically, again, have our main course and we have our dessert. Main course is 175 grams of egg whites. The amount you can do with egg whites. I love my egg whites. This is actually my rest day breakfast. This here, plus smoked salmon, plus a kiwi, is my rest day breakfast, which you'll see in another full day of eating. But we also then have in there peppers, onions, what's that other thing, the green thing, spinach, cumin, paprika, 140 grams of sourdough. That's the most amount of sourdough. It's not much volume, to be honest, but that sourdough is something else. I had a taste off some of it there when I was making it. And then we have here dessert. To make up the protein, more micros in the fruit, we have 150 grams of 0% fat Greek yogurt, 15 grams of protein in there for taste. If you've been following the YouTube for a very long time, you know it was a staple for me years ago. Yogurt I'm much back on now. I went off it for a very long time, but I don't like Greek yogurt on its own. I think it's sick shit. Just the flavour is awful. So I mix protein in with it. So we have the milky hazelnut there again from ESN. Good bit of weight today now, to be fair, in this meal plan, but we have 100 gram of berries then. Raspberries, blueberries and frozen cherries. Oh, Delicious, lad. Salt, cinnamon, you know the business. A little bit of lighter than like mayonnaise, a little bit of ketchup, and we will dig in. That is going to go down very, very easily, as I said. Macros for meal number 3, 658 calories, 62 protein, 86 gram of carbs, and 5 grams of fat here again. So low fat, good amount of carbs, good hit of protein in there as well. This fella must have no life. And I'm going to the gym. As I said earlier, I'm going to be going back out on the road anyway to collect Dan. So why not make up for those bicep curls that we missed out on earlier on, and probably a little bit of movement then as well, because otherwise I'd just be sat on the couch. Work is done and there's only so much you can do, like, before your brain is absolutely mangled for the day. And why not, you know, like if it was like anyone else who's doing like soccer training, rugby training, you know, sometimes I get that urge to go back and do a little bit of rugby training, but imagine you end up with an injury, then you can't train or anything, like. And the thought of going in, training, getting thrown about in hard, rough, wet ground now for the winter. No, lad. No, I'll stick to the gym. That'll be my half square bar accounted for from earlier. That's what we'll do for that. Did a little bit of two-stepping on the treadmill. Little 7 kilometre pace, lad. Feels good. Endorphins be flying when you're running. I really like it. Oh, lads, it's very warm over here or something. We are in a little bit of like a burrito bowl going on here. This is the biggest portion of rice like that I've ever had on a plan. It's absolutely mental. We have 120 grams raw weight jasmine rice, 200 grams 5% beef. We have basically like a little bit of a burrito bowl. We've got my lettuce, a little bit of shredded lettuce, peppers, onions, a little bit of sauerkraut, a little bit of kimchi going in there, a little bit of beetroot going in there, seasoned with just garlic and peri-peri, and then I'll do a little bit of barbecue sauce on top, and that is the penultimate. It's a workout, I know, cutting that bread, but it's fair nice. And before I forget, 100 gram of pineapple, frozen pineapple and frozen mango. The texture on frozen mango, lads, is mental. And we'll wash it down with one of these bad boys. Being in the gym at that hour, it was quiet enough tonight. Kind of looking forward to some of those sessions. I don't know about like a big full session, but you know, going in there like training arms and stuff, that was nice this evening. Just late, dark. It's going to be a lot of them this year. 729 calories, 51 protein, 112 carb, 8 grams of fat. Bash. Lads, lads, lads. Look at that. This is our spot today. This is our spot, and this is the final meal. ESN's sleep supplement goes in. This goes in. And lights out on the couch. Look at that. Baked oats. 60 grams of just oats, water, 20 grams of whey, chocolate whey, and then blueberries, banana mixed in, and then cook it in the air fryer 12 minutes. And then on top then is just the rest of the banana, and then 10 grams of dark chocolate melted on top there, and then 10 grams of that squeezy peanut butter from Aldi. That peanut butter goes a long way as well. And then 45 grams of whey in a creamy, and that is the final meal. That is a bad boy meal, like, isn't it? It's a big meal as well, but it is dense. It is dense and it's enjoyable. One thing, like, I can go to sleep pretty much without having any issues in terms of digesting food. Like, I'll move about after I eat a little bit and then we'll be good to go. 700 calories, 60 protein, 70 carb and 17 grams of fat. Bosh. That is a beauty of a meal. And there we have it. 3,711 calories, 280 protein, big boy protein, lad, 500 grams of carbs on the dot, 51 grams of fat. And we go again tomorrow, except tomorrow's a rest day. Hope we got you through a cardio session. Drop the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're interested in a podcast, check out Controlcast. Let me know who you'd like to see on the podcast. Who should I try and get on the podcast and have a good conversation with them?
I'll see you in the next one. Ice cream and cake.